quite often we notice things, and we've got the benefit of YouTube and social platforms to discuss these issues and air our views and opinions on what's going on. Let's call it neglect. We'll call it neglect. Do you feel that you're neglected? For instance, burglaries and muggings aren't really policed properly, and yet social media tweets and Facebook comments are. You get more police arriving at the front door to discuss WhatsApp than you do for if you've just had your house done over. And there is one particular crime that centres around Rotherham and Oldham. You'll know which crime I mean. It's the groomers, and they seem to have literally gotten away with it for over 20 years. Thousands of victims, reams and reams of testimony. The Alexis J inquiry covered most all of this type of crime. Not specifically to the gangs, but everything. Got to be careful on here. And the thing that strikes me is we're very vocal about what happens at street level with the actual gangs themselves. But how did they get so protected? How have they managed to dodge most of the crimes over a period of 20 years? Well, we've only really had a couple of 3 journalists and policemen carrying it forward. Maggie Oliver's one of them, the Times journalist who uncovered it all. You could see that he found the whole sordid subject quite harrowing when he discussed it. But how have they managed to avoid, let's call it, jail time? Well, I'm looking at something here. And obviously, council, officials, police, social services, everybody's had a part to play in this neglect. And when you think that it's gone back right as far as when Tony Blair was in power, it's gone on for a long time, yet we've still never had any real retribution over this. There was a comment on Facebook, it was a post, sorry, not Facebook, Twitter, X, and it wasn't really the comment because it was about the gangs, it was a response from a journalist who's retired, a Guardian journalist, who spoke about these gangs in a way that he basically made out that sex was always complicated, as though it was some sort of consensual thing between 2 adults when we were talking about these crimes. And then I had a look at who he was, and apparently he's called Michael White. He's retired now, I think he's retired. Wrote a lot of stuff for the Guardian, and he has a son called Sam White, and Sam White was Keir Starmer's chief of staff when he was in opposition, and Sam White's wife is the MP for Leeds North, where 117 cases have been declared in her constituency, and only 7 have made it to trial. It's a low amount, isn't it? So how far does the rot go when you think there's a journalist cushioning the description of what's been going on, these abhorrent crimes, and then you've got his son who was Keir Starmer's chief of staff when Keir was in opposition. You've got Keir Starmer was in the Crown Prosecution Service when Jimmy Savile didn't see the letter of the law visit his door, did he? All right, he did die, but nevertheless, it came out after the fact. And then you've got the British Broadcasting Service, the BBC, who seem to have more than their fair share of these delinquent people. Hugh Edwards has never even been to jail, and what he was doing was quite abhorrent. So you've got to ask yourself, are we neglected? Are we getting left behind? Have people tried to cover things up? These are all the questions that people have, and they're asking them online. They're asking them on YouTube. They're asking them on Facebook. People want to know. We're sick of it. We're sick of this kind of thing being hushed up because more important people seem to be involved than what we've been told. Operation U-Tree is a fine example. Theresa May was Home Secretary at the time, and a lot of leading politicians were implicated in these foul deeds. And what happened? Oh, Theresa lost the documents. She lost them. so they couldn't continue with the prosecutions and the investigations. Amazing that, isn't it? She was Home Secretary. She's still around in politics, which is very unusual after you've been Prime Minister. They normally step away, but she still got her seat. And yeah, it'd be a powerful thing if you still have that information, wouldn't it? It'd be a very powerful thing, that. So there we have it. When you look at how these things are correlated together, especially when you start looking into journalists, it's good to sometimes just Google the odd name of a journalist, like somebody working for Sky or the online service which is called News Agents, you know, Emily Maitlis and Lewis Goodall. Lewis Goodall's actually described on by The Guardian as an activist and journalist. A lot of them are. They're delivering narrative out there, they're not actually delivering the truth. So I'm looking at, wow, Keir Starmer, Crown Prosecution Service, then he's made leader of the Labour Party. He's basically come from nowhere as Starmer. He's relatively a new kid on the block. And then you've got this Sam White, who was his chief of staff when he was in opposition, and a lefty journalist as a dad who's been on Twitter cautioning the delivery of the chat and the talk about the gangs. Makes you wonder where it's all going or where it's all even been. And it's why people continue to push on this issue. There's a massive demonstration, I believe, in June, just Google it, coming out in support of the survivors of this type of treatment. So we have to see where it all goes. But if people keep pushing hard enough, people will have to, well, uncover more, won't they? Who knows? Maybe it might lead to the truth one day.